Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Lucian supplementary guide, and today we're going to be taking a look at Lucian with IE instead of with BT. So if you guys remember from my Lucian updated complete guide, his build basically looked like this. Right, so basically you would go for your Essence Weaver, Magnetic Blaster, and then you would go for your BT at the very end. Sometimes you can swap it earlier on, whatever you want. But how about just going for straight up raw damage? Why not just go for IE instead of BT? Well, that's what we're going to do in the gameplay you'll see later on. Basically, the build is pretty similar to, of course, the updated complete guide build. Glenn Grease, early AD and Omni Vamp, of course, Essence Weaver, a little bit of AD and Ability Haste. You, of course, also get the Spellblade passive where you can, of course, proc it very easily with Lucian since he auto attacks in between using his abilities. And then you have Magnetic Blaster just for extra burst damage, extra range, a little bit of wave clear as well. And then, of course, IE just gives you more damage in general, more crit damage, and more reminder for Armor Pen and Grievous Wounds, of course. And then, last item is going to be pretty flexible. And I just put Black Cleaver here as a default just because I want to spotlight it a little bit. It's actually a pretty good Lucian item because you can actually use it for both tankiness as well as a little bit of damage and shredding resistances, especially if you're playing with a heavy AD team. Now, of course, other items that work here are items like GA, like Maw. A lot of items can work in that last spot. Now for the runes, it's basically going to be PTA, of course, because Lucian procs it very easily with his double auto attacks. And then here you have Brutal as usual, Giant Slayer, and here you have Bloodline because Lucian doesn't care too much about attack speed. Just a bit of extra healing would be better. Right, and for the spells, Flash together with Cleanse. If you don't need Cleanse, of course, something like Barrier or Exhaust would work very well. But with all that said, now let's take a look at the gameplay. Okay, so now let's take a look at the gameplay. Today in this game we're playing with a Nami. Now, Lucian Nami is of course one of Lucian's best combos. Now, honestly, I think Lucian works very well with a lot of supports. Now, the only thing you really don't want is basically like a Lulu or something like that. Like, he works well with both Enchanters and Engagers, pretty surprisingly. I say surprisingly because I normally thought that Lucian would work a lot better with Engagers because they can basically just engage for him. He can just dash in and just destroy them. But actually he works very well with Enchanters, right? So with Milio, of course, Milio W constantly procs your passive. You get bonus range when you have very short range. With like Yumi's heals can also proc his passive multiple times and also just help him out in those fights. And of course here, like with Nami, of course gives you that really big burst damage when she puts that E on you. Now you will see this later on in the gameplay, I will point it out. But one of the main reasons why Lucian Nami is so strong is just because of the insane burst damage that Nami gives you, combined together with your Essence Weaver and Blaster. Burst damage together with Nami's E, you can really, like, I wouldn't say one shot, but you can really like just deal a huge amount of burst damage to your opponents. Right, so here we're against a Veigar Ezreal bot lane, and they're playing pretty passive. So basically we just shove them in. And Veigar, of course, is pretty useless in the early game. The only value he really brings to the game at the current moment is, of course, his cage. Like, you're unlikely to get hit by his W. You're unlikely to get hit by his Q. And, of course, Ezreal, all he really can do is poke you. Which he is, of course, trying to do. But because his support is really not pulling his weight at all, he's having a pretty difficult time, and he's getting chunked out by Nami, who is one of the very strong laning champions. Here, the Veigar does get caught. He pops the barrier. Ezreal takes a lot of damage as well. We get off a very good trade. However, the main issue with having like such good trades in the early game is there's really not much you can really do with it if you can't kill them, right? They're just gonna get stuck under the tower. They're just gonna farm, and there's really nothing you can actually do, right? So here I'm just getting like a reset. You can see them resetting as well. We could disrupt them, but like, as I said, it's really difficult to do anything with it at the moment. So everybody resets, we get boots, and we're just going to make our way back to the lane. I'm assuming that the enemy reset as well. You can see Ezreal has a tier, which I think is a really bad first buy, because it basically is useless. It gives you no combat stats. Mana is kind of useless. You will charge it up faster, yes, but for laning purposes, it's really horrible. Veigar doesn't have enough for boots, which of course is also very logical. And now we're back to business, right? So we're going to take this opportunity while there's not too much action happening to kind of talk about IE versus BT. Basically, I think the trade-off is pretty clear, right? Basically with BT, you get a little bit more safety you get the shield, you get the defenses, you get the physical vamp as well. I think the physical vamp, in my opinion, is like my favorite part. Like just getting the extra healing when you're in fights is very handy. Whereas with BT, you just get whereas with IE, as Ari comes in for a very nice gank, whereas with IE you just get a lot more pure damage, right? You just get so much extra damage. You will do a lot more damage, but you don't have as much sustain and as much defensive capabilities. So really, it's just a choice of which one you prefer. I think both of them are very viable. Both of them work very well. So here, we have a really, really horrible situation. Now, what's this horrible situation? My jungler and my mid laner are just hitting tower for plates. And we're having a 3-way plate share, which I guess is fine. But the main issue is, Jace is getting plates for free in the mid lane, because my mid laner is not rotating back to mid lane to stop him. And my jungler, I guess, doesn't really have camps to clear, but should be resetting and going to blue side because blue buff is spawning and Grump is now up and wolves are going to come up soon. So my jungler is just wasting tempo, hitting tower for no reason. My mid laner is completely lost in the sauce, and Jace basically farms nearly the entire mid lane tower. So if we take a look at like the gold situation, you can see like Jace is now 1k gold up on Ari just because he has just been farming for free. And Ari is now not leaving my lane at all. So this means I have to kind of stay in mid lane, which I guess is fine because this allows me to actually farm the mid lane tower, get a plate there, as Jace goes for a short combo on me. And Ari is not attempting to reset or to rotate mid lane, so I guess we're just gonna let her lane 1v2 against the Veigar and the Ezreal. And Jace, of course, is 1-0-0. Did get a kill onto the Ari just now, I assume. But here you can see we're trying to get the kill onto the Jace. He goes down real low. We get him, but unfortunately Talon is around to finish the job on me, and we end up dying. Now Ari shows up fashionably late, together with the Vi. Now Ari Vi is a really insane mid lane jungle combo, right? Because if you really think about it, Vi ults, right, and Ari gets to hit Charm for free, and then gets to hit her full combo for free, and then Vi still has more CC with her Q. So Vi Ari is a very common like mid lane jungle combo you see in like pro play as well. But here Ari just goes back down to the side lane. So I guess I'm going back to the mid lane because I'm not gonna be fighting Ari for farm when I can get like basically free farm in the mid lane. So here I'm just trying to shove the wave in and trying to farm plates because Jace can only really clear so many minions, right? So he clears the first two, and we can hit the tower a little bit before he clears the next two, and we get the plate. And just as well, because the plates are basically going to be falling in 30 seconds, right? So we have maybe one more chance to attempt to get plates. I try to dash forward onto him, but Talon is actually nearby because he just popped the Squire's Bloom. And of course we can see that there he is. He jumps in on me. I don't take that much damage, but I'm going to flash out because Jay's going to combo me afterwards. Jay's tanking my ult for no reason. We get off pretty good damage onto him. Talon also pretty low. We eat a little bit of Jace damage, and in the meantime, everybody's low. And we're just going to reset because objectives are going to be spawning. And Vi is just deploying out onto the map. So we actually back. We get the Essence Reaver. Of course, we get our health back. And Vi is apparently going for Dragon. So enemy team is actually doing the Dragon at the moment. We get the move speed bonus from Nami. And we're going to hop our way into the Dragon. Nami flashes in. Here we get the steal on the Dragon, and we're looking to see if we can get anything more. Here I get huge amount of burst damage onto Veigar, but now I'm trapped in the cage. I get hit into the cage. I have to pop the QSS. Now I'm running for the hills. Now I'm trying to dodge Mundo as well. Mundo is running real quickly. What's that movement speed from Mundo? I don't think he has Ghost on, right? Because his Ghost is like almost off cooldown, so he doesn't have Ghost. But he has an insane amount of movement speed that just basically runs me down. And yeah, that's not too hot, right? And Vi is apparently trying to now 1v1 him. I'm not sure what the plan there is, Chief. But gives Mundo a free Heartsteel stack, I guess. And Ari is now finally going back to mid lane. So here, seeing that, now I'm finally going to go back to bot lane. Because as I said, you don't really want to compete with your teammates for farm. So you want to go into the lane that they're not. So Veigar, in the meanwhile, attempting to take down this tower. We're not going to allow that. It is pretty low, but we do eventually manage to defend it. Now, the thing about defending outer towers is you don't want to overcommit to defending outer towers because they're probably going to fall sooner or later anyway. But you, at the same time, don't want to give it to the enemy for free, right? Like, if you have nothing else better to do, you should just defend the outer tower, right? So here, in fact, I'm getting the outer tower of the bot lane, and we actually secure that. So Ezreal, on his way down, apparently was going for the skull, but we're not going to allow him to do that. We're just going to take the skull for ourselves. And since there's not much happening, very common thing to do, which you should, is to just farm either the Krugs or the Grom, depending on which side of the map you are on. And just make sure you maintain up your farm, especially because Vi is nowhere, like, is not interested in farming. She's just ganking Jace in the mid lane. Farm the next wave as well. And here Herald is being popped mid. So normally when Herald is popped, a play normally kind of happens because the enemy team is going to come stop the Herald, things like that. But nothing actually ends up happening. So we're going to rotate back bot. Now Veigar is a tad overextended. We're going to try to catch him out. Now I'm stuck in the baby cage. I use the QSS just to get past the cage without any issue. And here I'm just going to basically just run him down. Get the kill on him. Ari comes over and tries to KS. Thankfully we secure the kill. And we can just clear the next wave. Now Mundo is now trying to run down the Ari, who flashes over the red buff pit, and also as a result takes the red buff, which is mildly annoying. And now we get the second item, which is the Mega Blaster. Now this item combo, the Blaster with the ER, is actually really solid, just because of how you get double burst damage, as I mentioned just now. Now here Vi is ulting onto Mundo. Now I really don't think that's the play, but since Mundo is taking so much damage, we're just going to keep on focusing him and look for the kill. Teemo actually gets the shutdown. Ezreal nearly kills me, but I'm saved by Nami. And somehow the Talon actually just ignores the fact that I'm 1 HP, just hops over into my team, and I'm actually going to get away with it. I'm going to run over to this bush and recall, because Jace and Talon both kind of just ignore me and just let me go, which much appreciated, I guess. Like Talon, I thought he was just going to jump on me immediately with his Q, but he just ignores me and just goes for my team, which is like, wow. Yeah, Teemo not very useful in this game. He has a Morellonomicon first item, so he essentially does no damage at this point. He doesn't have he has no Malignance, no Liandry's, no Oblivion Orb. He just has a Morellonomicon, which is just anti-heal basically. Not very useful. Mundo trying to run me down. I'm just backing off a little bit. Going for the ulti onto like the Veigar and a little bit onto Mundo as well. Now Mundo is kind of just tanking damage for free, right? So I'm just dishing out damage onto him for free just because there's no reason not to damage him, right? So here he almost dies. I thought I got him here. He pops the gargoyles, pops the ulti, nearly dies, but doesn't. Nami finally gets the kill on him with a W. And here I'm dashing forward. Now this is where I'm talking about the... I believe this is where I talk about the Nami burst damage. So here you can see Nami puts the E on me. So look at this. I dash forward, one-shot the Jace pretty much. I mean, he was at half health, so it's not difficult to one-shot him at that kind of health. But I honestly, I myself was not expecting that amount of burst damage, right? Like, I basically just dashed forward, double auto, and the double auto did like half of Jace's HP. We get stunned by Veigar here, but Veigar can't exactly one-shot us 100 to 0, so no big deal. Looking to steal the enemy jungle camps. We get the big wolf, and now we're going to get the blue buff. Mundo is now coming here, so we're gonna have to switch focus from the blue buff to now blasting the Mundo instead. Dragon gets taken, and you can see a huge wave in the bot lane. And as I always mention, you never want there to be a huge wave anywhere. You want to be clearing the wave. Look at all that gold, like kills worth of gold right there. And while waiting for the next wave to come, which is gonna come real soon. Right, we're just gonna farm the Krugs and take the next wave, and then we still have those two small little Krugs there. So after we've gotten the wave, back to farming the Krugs, and now we can base and of course pick up our components for the IE. Now, huge fight is happening in the mid lane. I'm trying to dash to the mid lane as quickly as I can. But by the time I reach there, the fight kind of dissipates. No one actually dies. And Baron is now up, so we're getting mid lane priority. And we're all in kind of like the Baron area, right? I don't know if the enemy team thinks we're doing it or not. But they're also kind of forced to enter the area. Now, Veigar is completely out of position. We are going to be able to burst him down with that Nami burst damage again. Like, when Nami gives you that E, you get so much extra burst damage. We blast him into next week. Now Vi goes in with the ulti. I'm ulting basically whoever I can see, which is Mundo. Jace 1 HP with that dash forward, finish him off. Talon trying to run away, as is Ezreal. Now, the problem with Talon here is he's now kind of trapped under his tower. Right? Teemo is pushing in the next wave, and it's only a matter of time before we dive him, right? So now I was actually thinking he might have run to the bush and recall, but he actually didn't. So now he's actually kind of just running back and forth. Now just trying to get something done. We eventually, of course, are able to finish him off as a team. And we're going to get this tower as well. And now on the exit, I see the red buff of the enemy team. So I'm going to look to deny this red buff. But my team is still fighting, right? Nami gets the kill onto Ezreal, but Ahri dies to Veigar. And I really don't think we should be overextending this much. So I'm going to just pop the recall. Now Mundo is walking towards my direction, so I'm paying attention here. But he doesn't even choose to interrupt me, so I complete my recall. I get not just my IE, but also both my components of the Mole Reminder, which of course is going to come in handy, especially against Mundo, who is getting kind of tanky. And since Vi is farming the blue, I'm just going to quickly pick up the Gromp. And just continue on clearing wave. Baron, of course, still up, so we don't want to go to the wrong side of the map. We want to stay in the middle of the map or towards the Baron side. And of course, same goes especially for Vi. She doesn't want to go to the other side of the map, hopefully. Now here Mundo is on the other side of the map, so we decide to actually start off the Baron. Vi is making her way here, but she's actually pretty slow. So we're actually doing the Baron a little bit too fast. It's actually becoming pretty risky because Vi is not actually here for the smite. She eventually gets here, but we actually secure it before she reaches the in range to actually smite. So that could have been a bit risky because it could have been stolen by like a Jace, QE for example. That could have been a thing. Now Vi is running away. I'm dashing forward, seeing if we can catch out Talon. Talon actually has already run away, so that's not going to happen. Now instead, we're kind of looking at what we can do with our team here. Of course, the usual ARAM to push down mid lane inhib is happening. No real side lane play except Teemo, who's now pushing in one of the side lanes. Mundo runs straight at us. I'm just going to pop the ult. He eats the entire ult and we are able to kill him. Teemo still getting the split push in, which is absolutely fine, right? Basically, we're a 4-man distraction for Teemo to push so that no one is going to defend the Teemo there. Probably he's going to be able to get a tier 2. Vi goes in. I know I have the damage, so I just dash forward to kill Ezreal with the Nami E as well. We can easily just dash in and pick up the kill. Teemo, meanwhile, is picking up the tier 2 tower. We're going to pick up this tier 3 tower. I dash into the cage, but of course I have QSS, so no big deal. We're going to finish off the Talon here. With the next wave coming in here, we actually can just push down this inhib. Of course, inhib gonna spawn super minions. And here I spot a low HP, not low HP, but I spot a Veigar that I can kill, right? So I go in for the kill, but unfortunately, at the same time, Jace has just come out of the base. He is able to kill me, whilst I kill the Veigar. So a little bit of an overextension for me there, unfortunately. Now here Mundo is trying to run us down, right? But I don't think that's going to be a very good idea because he's now run into 4 people, cutting off his escape. He pops the gargoyles. I think he actually is going to get out. Right, because we don't have the damage to kill him. Finally, we get the damage through, and my team is actually able to kill him. But that took one eternity. I kind of thought he was going to get out at that point. And Ezreal gets caught out by the Ahri combo, but Ahri combo does not yet do enough damage, unfortunately. So she doesn't one-shot the Ezreal. Now I've respawned back onto the map. At this point, I have all 4 of my crit items, of course with the IE especially, boosting the crit damage. I'm going to be doing a ton of damage at this point, so I'm just looking to get the Nami E and then just dash onto somebody and pretty much just one-shot them with my combo. And here I'm venturing into the enemy jungle. Vi back is getting disrupted by the enemy, so we're thinking of going for kills ourselves, dashing in onto the Talon. And Vi is going to be able to kill the Talon. Now Mundo's running at us. I'm popping the ult again, so just let him eat a free ult. Pops the gargoyles. He is a tanky chap, but eventually we are able to kill him. Ezreal and Veigar running for the hills. Jace gets a very nice poke damage onto me. Nami with the W heals me up and the harmonic echo as well. And I'm basically back to full health. I'm just going to flash forward just to finish off the J since we can end the game right here. I wouldn't need my flash anymore. And there we have it. Pretty nice victory from us. I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual, of course. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.